Hello, welcome to the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition's forum. My name is David Dadekian. I'm your host. I am the owner of Eat Drink Rhode Island, a small business here in Rhode Island, obviously, with the name. And today we've got a fellow board member with me, Kate Roberts, who owns Easy Entertaining Inc. in Providence, Rhode Island, though she covers the whole area of southern New England with her catering business. I've known Kate for many years, and hello, welcome.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you. It's always nice to talk with you. Like
Yeah.
I said, you own a catering business. It's been how long now? 16?
Well, next June, it'll be 20 years,
Is
if you
it
can
20?
believe it.
My
I know.
goodness,
Isn't that kind of wild? We have to throw a banger, I
it's
think.
19 years right now. Oh my goodness,
hmm
time flies. Time
hmm
flies.
I
Uh,
know. I know.
well, as I mentioned,
I
I
know.
introduced you. You're on the board of the Small Business Coalition with me and several of our friends. And so what we want to do with these forum episodes where we're interviewing board members is talk about how you got started, your path to entrepreneurship, your small business, and obviously the coalition and what we're doing there. So why don't you start with how did this all get started for you? How did you end up owning a catering business in Rhode Island?
I know. It's kind of happenstance. I started as a personal chef when I got back from culinary school, which I did overseas. I did that in Italy. And I would cook in people's homes for them, friends of parents and friends of friends, and kind of expanded that way. The requests began to get larger for larger events that probably were too much for one person to handle because you're doing everything. Personal chefs are out there doing so much work. So as they got bigger, I thought, well, I'll need some help to be able to do this. So we kind of grew from there and started to hire. Initially built our first commissary out in what is the Butcher Block Mill now. It wasn't then.
Right.
And then came down to Valley Street like about 14 years ago now, and built that out. And then we bought a larger facility that we now own on Smith Street. So we've always been, for the most part, in Providence. Our facility's been in Providence, and now we have, shy of 60 employees that help us do things. We're not huge.
Oh, it's still a good
By
size for a small
catering,
business.
yeah, we have a good market share, but we're not huge. That's what I would say about us. Um, Female owned and operated, and a good a good balance of age demographics of people that work here, and different viewpoints and different ideas that kind of allow us to serve you interesting food, interesting experiences, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, as someone who's known you for years, used your services, seen it at places. I mean, you do an excellent job at staying local and serving really delicious food,
Thank you.
which I think is the bottom line for a lot of folks. They want to know that they're supporting small business, they're supporting local folks, they're supporting their local community and economy, and so obviously
Yeah.
yours is a great business for that. So, it's been, like you said, 19 years. You've probably seen a lot of changes and, ups and downs over the years. What is your feeling on being a small business in Rhode Island and, and how things have changed and grown over the last 19 years?
Well, I love Rhode Island. I'm basically from here, born in New York, but one day they'll let me say I'm from here. I love the ocean. I love that you can be hiking and then 20 minutes later you can be swimming in the ocean. You can
Right.
be, getting some of the best aquaculture there is in the world is here. You're not going to have better shellfish really from anywhere.
Yep.
Every, it, you know, the restaurants are top, top, top. Really, anywhere you're going to go. So I love being here. Um, that being said, my only reference really is here. And so when I
Right.
do talk to other business owners that friends that I went to school with that own businesses in South Carolina, California, even different places, it just doesn't seem as arduous as it is here for some things. And so it's been nice to join the RISBC board and kind of push for streamline advocacy, you know, kind of just making business easier for business owners in Rhode Island. And one of the things that's important about that is messaging and figuring out what business owners really need, because there's so many different kinds of business. My business is, your business is different, and what everybody really needs. You know, what they really need most is that open line of communication. And I think that that's one of the things that RISBC tries to have is like a line of communication with the people that are making decisions that can either make our lives much harder or much easier. And change doesn't happen overnight, and change happens very slowly, like a slower rate in Rhode Island. So, so we try to, you know, impact change, and while still maintaining a lot of the stuff that everybody, you know, loves Rhode Island for. One of the greatest things about Rhode Island is also one of the things that's like really difficult in the business environment as well, right? That everybody knows everybody.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're like 2 steps away from the governor and 2 steps away from the Speaker of the House, and you're here with the mayor, and it's just a little different because we are so small. And so if you think about that in the inverse, they're getting all of this amplified voice around them from everybody and what they want, what they need, what's best, what way is the best way.
No, very true. Well,
I think.
Well, I was going to say you've been a catalyst for change over the years. You know, I think a lot of us on the coalition, that's kind of how we came together as well. We were, you know, the people that tried to make change, and you know, not all of us have been around in the, you know, in the environment for 5,000 years like Mark, but you know, we've been you know, part of this for many years now. Why don't you talk about some of the things you've seen change and some of the things you've been part of for the last few years?
I think. Most recently, you know, I felt very happy that we were able to get some of the excise tax rolled back for business owners in Rhode Island, and tangible tax on certain things. I think that was kind of a big deal. That was just kind of something that's hanging over our head. I'm currently advocating against Rhode Island Energy's ability to have an infinite look back period on your electric bill, regardless of if they bill you incorrectly. That seems a little bit a bridge too far for me, that they don't have to read the meters ever, and you can still be billed for it. Paid sick leave was, you know, important to me to advocate for, because as a female run company, it's kind of I saw it as a way to be able to subsidize a parental plan. And it seemed like a no-brainer because we're not paying into it. But that was something that was really exciting to have happen, I think, here in Rhode Island. And Rhode Island was one of the very first few states to implement it. Not the first, but one of the first few states to implement it. And that was exciting. And not just for kids, by the way, like, you know, an ill parent or partner or child, or just like, it's important to have stuff like that. I think talking about what's going on in Rhode Island as far as like ease of licensing, ease of kind of streamlining how you get things done, is something that we can always improve on and talk about.
It was interesting. I had the Secretary of State on recently, and he talked about the systems, and it was true. You know, sitting here thinking about it with him while he was talking, I was like, yeah, you know, 15, 20 years ago, we couldn't do most of these things online, which seems silly to say, but it was true. And now most of these things are online. Even if they're not perfect, we are getting closer to streamlining.
We're getting closer to streamlining. Yeah, things being online is infinitely helpful, because that's the other thing, is a lot of business owners aren't able to deal with the things that their state wants them to deal with between 10 and 3. So it's like, if you can't deal with it then you're fined, and, you know, so it's helpful to be able to have them at other times throughout the day. Have a little bit more clarity I'm going through my second application for a liquor license. My first one was like 14 years ago with the city of
Oh, yeah.
Providence. So I'm interested to see how that process has improved, if it's improved at all.
I mean,
So
it
just,
should. I mean, over the time, yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, yeah. Please let us
yeah,
know when you're done with it. Yeah.
yeah. So I think it's, I was able to call this time before I wasn't able to call. You used to have to go in person and talk to someone.
Hmm.
So that's nice that they answer questions over the phone there rather than in person. And I think, seeing how things change a little bit in that regard, um, hopefully we're headed in the right direction.
Right. Well, it's interesting. You mentioned things. A lot of people don't realize with small businesses, and it runs from single people operators to groups like yours that are around 60 people, and even up to 100. You bring up things like paid sick leave or paid family care leave, and people think, oh, those aren't small business issues, but there's so many issues that are small business issues. They really do run the gamut. Everything from, like you said, liquor licenses, for your type of industry to the paid sick leave is important because a lot of times with small businesses, you're only a few employees, and it's a little bit of a cliche, but it becomes true. They're like a family to you, so you want to take care of those employees.
Yeah.
We have issues like housing in this state, and people think, well, that's not a small business issue, but if you can't live somewhere for an affordable price, then how are you going to work at a small business?
Hmm.
People forget that if you lump all the small businesses into one group, that's really the largest sector of employment in the state. It's over
Right.
50%, almost 60%. And so, yeah, really, a lot of these issues run the gamut from like I said, one person to 100 people, companies, and really are important. So you joined
Hmm.
the coalition. A couple about 2 years ago now. I guess it's been. I'm
Hmm.
trying. Time does fly. Yeah, I guess it's been 5 years since we started the
Yeah.
coalition. Jeez. But yeah, you came on a few years ago. During the pandemic. I know. We had conversations with you because you do represent a good part of the sector. With my friend Rick. Tell us about being part of it. Tell us, what you think about, how it's been going over the years, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, I think the point you made about um, us encompassing more than 50% of employment factor in Rhode Island. I mean, also true nationwide, right? It's small
Right.
business is the leading employer nationwide. So, what's hard about anything where you're like spread out and different, but representing a larger portion of the population is galvanizing, like and amplifying a voice. So I think that's one thing that's kind of important about RISBC because you'll think, okay, well, I'm, a barbershop and I only have two employees. I'm not really going to be able to impact change. But on a larger platform with more people pointing it out, you will. And the odds are that you're not alone. You're not working in a silo of
Right.
uh, barbershops. There's probably a lot of other barbershops that have the same concerns or have found a way around your concern. So it'd be worth connecting on that level and figuring out, okay, well, I handled it this way in my district. You can handle it that way. Let's talk to these people about this. This is becoming a real issue. And I think, when the coalition came about during COVID, there was even more connectivity, right, to
Right.
the people in charge. And there was, interestingly enough, and you can say this retrospectively, less for them to focus on. Like everybody was focused on one problem. Like the ship was going down and we were trying to right the ship and
Yeah.
like
Excellent point.
healthcare and it was working towards one goal versus
Yeah.
in your regular everyday life now that we're all back to, everybody has a different goal. There's not, like some people might think the ship's going down. Some people might think that we're living our best life. And that's the difference versus during COVID, everybody was kind of working towards keeping businesses open, keeping people alive, and figuring out how to do that in a meaningful way. So I think the essence of that and what RISBC did during that time is kind of what they want to do now. And it's just
Yeah.
harder now because there's a lot of other background noise. So it's more important, arguably, right? Like it's more important to have galvanized support for
Yeah.
small business. Mhm.
Yeah. Strength in numbers.
Yeah, I think so. And there's also a lot of issues that do have crossover. Like when we have our social events or networking events, there's a lot of crossover that you might not know that you have with other businesses. And I like to see that.
Yeah.
Um, I try to think back on things that gave me a little bit of trouble when I got to them. So, like, if I get to a new stage in business, like when I was trying to figure out funding for the new building, we're doing a seminar on that, how to find funding. And even if you're not ready to find funding right now, you might be soon. So it might be something worth listening to, or figuring out when we do it again how you can join, because um, it's directed at you and your business and how small businesses work from the people that give the funding. So it's important to kind of know how that works.
Yeah.
I think issues like that are important for us to um, promote and talk about and make accessible to people.
Yeah. Well, we should point out to folks listening or watching on YouTube. You can obviously follow us on the socials. You see the icons up there in the corner: Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But the easiest way to make sure you get all the information is to go to risbc.org and sign up for the newsletter.
Yes.
They come out periodically. We don't have like a set schedule, but when we put them out for events and things of that nature, like you mentioned, the webinar that you're holding, networking events, all those go out in the newsletter to register for those types of things. So make sure you sign up for that there and follow us on social and all the rest. If you're on YouTube, you should like and subscribe the show and all those things that people say over and over and over.
Give us the like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe, ring the bell, et cetera, et cetera. But so, all right. So, Kate, why don't you tell folks out there how to find Easy Entertaining?
Easy Entertaining is at easyentertainingri.com. E-entertainingri on Instagram. That's probably like the best place to follow us. You can track through to Facebook and all that kind of stuff as well. And you'll find us maybe at your office lunch or your next barbecue. Weddings, we do a lot of those. Yeah. And we have a bunch of exciting partnerships with venues, some that are out there and some that are going to be announced soon. So we're really excited to see you throughout the state and helping out at your next event, making hosting easier.
Absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the key. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to hire a local business, support the local economy in your local community. This is a great local business to use for all your events. It's been great seeing the progress over, I can't believe, almost 20 years. It's crazy to realize.
I know it is, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to another one of our board members, Hugo, and soon, and I've known Hugo for over 20 years too. So it's amazing. It's something to see. The growth and we're becoming the old guard here at the in the Ocean State, which is good. Like you said, we all know each other's business to a certain extent, and that's a good thing. I think it's good to share and to be able to spread the word and get people out there. Yeah,
I agree. Thanks for taking the time, and I hope to see some people at the new seminars and networking events. That'll be exciting.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Kate. We appreciate it. Get back to working 24/7 like all small business owners.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you again for watching another episode of the Small Business Coalition's Forum. My name is David Dadekian, as I said at the start, and we really appreciate you being here and watching or listening on your favorite podcast app. If you are listening on a podcast app, we appreciate ratings and all that type of things there as well. So please join us next time for another great interview, and take care.